There is one trait extra terrifying than cruelty, greater dangerous than genius, and more powerful than wealth: fearlessness, no longer the sort flaunted by way of reckless fools or loud-mouthed warriors, however the cold, silent type. The sort possessed by using the ones who have burned each bridge, killed each hesitation, and buried their judgment of right and wrong within the call of power. That is the fearlessness Machiavelli well liked. The type that makes kings sleep with one eye open, the type that turns servants into shadow rulers. It's not about bravery, it's approximately numbness. You not fear failure, betrayal, loss, or death. You turn out to be untouchable, no longer because you're covered, however, due to the fact there is not anything left to take from you. Most people are dominated via fear, worry of being disliked, changed, uncovered. However, the simply effective, they sense not anything. They don't hesitate, they calculate, they strike. And while fear dies, something darker takes its place: absolute manage. On this video, we reveal why fearlessness is the deadliest weapon inside the Machiavellian arsenal, and how folks that grasp it do not just win, they dominate. The majority don't live. They continue to exist one anxious decision at a time. Worry is the invisible chain that controls the hundreds. It is why men observe susceptible leaders, why soldiers hesitate in battle, why you stay quiet when you need to communicate, obey whilst you ought to rise up, and move slowly when you must strike. Fear isn't always a feeling. It's a machine, a hierarchy, and in case you do not master it, you may stay and die as a pawn. Machiavelli understood this better than everybody. He did not romanticize fear. He studied it, dissected it. He knew that fear is the lever by means of which rulers manipulate topics and by way of which vulnerable minds surrender their energy. Take a look at the current world. It runs on worry. Worry of being cancelled, fear of being bad, fear of rejection, fear of standing alone. You don't make selections. Your fear does. You don't chase your desires. You negotiate with your insecurity. Every move you're making is an breakout from soreness. And here lies the secret. The first step to becoming effective isn't gaining confidence. It is killing worry, murder it, erase it, burn it out of your gadget, because as long as worry lives, power cannot. You can't be feared until you experience not anything. You don't overcome worry by averting it. You triumph over it by strangling it till it stops breathing. Most of the people need to overcome fear lightly through meditation, breathing sports, or positive affirmations. This is weak point disguised as expertise. Machiavelli could chortle at such softness. He didn't agree with in taming fear. He believed in turning fear into a weapon or eliminating it completely. So how do you kill worry? Not with courage, however, with calculation. Worry prospers in uncertainty. It grows within the unknown, in emotion, in chaos. So step 1 in the Machiavellian transformation is to show worry into facts, into something that may be dissected, studied, and used. On every occasion you sense fear, ask yourself, what precisely am I terrified of? Loss of money, recognition, comfort, reputation. Spoil it down, strip it of its phantasm. You may notice that fear is rarely about fact. It is approximately ego. You're no longer afraid of dropping. You're fearful of searching like a loser. You are not afraid of rejection. You are afraid your self-image will crack. You're now not fearful of danger. You're fearful of how you will be seen after you fail to avoid it. It really is no longer worry. It's vanity. And arrogance is straightforward to kill. Once you stop giving a rattling about what people suppose. Machiavelli knew this. A person dominated by means of the opinion of others is already conquered. He would not need an enemy. His desire to be favored will enslave him. So what's the transformation? Step 1. Weigh down your dependency to approval. Prevent apologizing for your ambition. Forestall softening your voice to be everyday. Forestall asking for permission to be risky. When you stop fearing disapproval, you unencumber the maximum terrifying strength of all. Freedom, freedom to act without hesitation, freedom to speak without filters, freedom to execute without guilt. Now allows cross deeper. Step 2. Divulge yourself to controlled war of words. Fear survives in comfort. So in case you want to kill it, you have to hunt pain intentionally, start small, speak when you're afraid to, disagree while you're anticipated to conform, take actions that venture your identity. You must construct an addiction of attacking what frightens you before it attacks you. Machiavelli understood this. Small rebellions harden the spirit. Small dangers prepare you for larger conquests. In case you can't stand the warmth of a meeting, how can you continue to exist the fire of politics and betrayal? Fear dies when you bleed in education, so teach violently. Now the third step is brutal, however essential. Step 3. Detach from final results. Fear survives because you are too connected to a result. You need achievement, love, appreciate, manipulate, and the notion of dropping it paralyzes you. This is your weakness. That is what makes you predictable. However, while you detach, while you not fear loss, you grow to be a paradox, the man who could lose the whole lot and remain unchanged. That's what terrifies people. That is what creates have an impact on. In case you cannot be rattled, you cannot be manipulated. In case you cannot be baited, you cannot be trapped. If you cannot be threatened, you are untouchable. This is power, and here's the very last step of transformation, the Machiavellian finish. Step 4. Weaponize your loss of worry. As soon as you have killed fear internal yourself, you begin the use of it against others. You turn out to be unpredictable. You act with pace, without hesitation, without mercy. Humans begin to worry your silence, your movements, your presence, because they realize you do not care about their guidelines. You don't respond to their emotions. You do not recoil when challenged. You best flow whilst it's strategic. Machiavelli failed to admire cruelty for cruelty's sake. He liked manage, and fearlessness is the inspiration of absolute control. Believe on foot into any room and knowing that nobody there can shake you. Consider you make a decision with zero doubt because you've got already rehearsed failure and decided it doesn't remember. Imagine confronting your finest enemy and feeling not anything. This is the man Machiavelli writes for. Now not the best guy, not the cautious man. The man who feels nothing when it's time to behave. The man who does not draw back because worry is dead. And as soon as it's lifeless, you emerge as something a ways extra terrifying than brave. You turn out to be inevitable. Once fear dies, something else have to take its area, and for the truly powerful, that replacement is ruthlessness. Due to the fact without fear, you now not hesitate. Without hesitation, you act. And while you act without hesitation, mercy turns into a weak spot you cannot manage to pay for. Machiavelli stated it clearly. It is tons safer to be feared than cherished. However, he failed to prevent there. He showed us why mercy, when used at the incorrect time, is suicidal. Mercy is most effective praised by means of those too weak to be risky. The hundreds beg for kindness, not due to the fact they deserve it, however, because they hope it will defend them from justice, from effects, from the blade they know they earned. But the ruler, the strategist, the participant of electricity, he does now not deliver mercy because it feels accurate. He gives it simplest whilst it serves a cause, and when it would not, he gets rid of the hassle completely. You spot, as soon as you've got killed fear inside yourself, you'll be tempted to go back to antique behavior, to provide 2D probabilities, to postpone punishment, to provide an explanation for yourself to individuals who don't count number. This is residue out of your old nervous self. Burn it. The fearless guy have to analyze the following regulation of energy. by no means hesitate to break. While a person threatens your position, tarnishes your name, leaks your plans, or disrespects your authority, you reply now not with emotion, however with elimination. Quiet, overall, final. This isn't cruelty. This is strategy, because electricity isn't sustained with the aid of being appreciated. It's far sustained by means of being untouchable, and untouchable men don't play protection. They take away liabilities earlier than they turn out to be threats. Allows break it down Machiavelli style. 1. Mercy makes you look uncertain. Whilst you spare someone who deserved punishment, it indicators to everyone else which you lack solve, that you may be swayed, that you're feeling guilt. As soon as people sense guilt in a powerful guy, they may press it like a bruise. 2. Mercy invitations betrayal. The human beings you spare will not thanks. They'll see your forgiveness as a signal of softness, and they may watch for the next opportunity to strike. Machiavelli warned, folks who advantage out of your mercy regularly emerge as those who resent your strength the maximum. 3. Mercy delays the inevitable. The hassle you refuse to address now will return stronger. It'll price greater to do away with later. Weak spot compounds, put off multiplies destruction. You need to apprehend this. The fearful guy indicates mercy to sense safe. The fearless man shows no mercy due to the fact he is already secure. Permit the others cry for justice. Allow them to call you cruel. Let them paint you as a villain, so be it. Due to the fact they don't understand the sport. They do not recognize that strength is not preserved through fairness. It is preserved through control. And control calls for ruthlessness, not regular violence, now not chaos, but strategic brutality, cold and surgical. You don't punish out of anger. You punish out of necessity. You narrow off fingers to save the hand. You do away with a traitor earlier than they infect your inner circle. Machiavelli, popular Cesar Borgia, due to the fact he understood this flawlessly. When Borgia needed to repair order, he unleashed Ramiro d'Orco, a brutal enforcer to instill fear and obedience. And once the activity became carried out, Borgia had him publicly done to win the affection of the people and show he would tolerate nobody who became too effective. It is ruthless brilliance, and that's your path. Fearlessness isn't always approximately taking unnecessary risks. It is approximately being inclined to do what cowards may not. It is about enforcing your rule with precision, now not emotion. It is approximately removing threat, no longer reacting to it. Whilst humans study you are able to final decisions, they stop checking out you. They prevent pushing obstacles. They begin respecting the silence behind your smile because they recognize whilst the instant comes you may not balk. You won't forgive, you'll finish. That is what separates the effective from the powerless. Not how many probabilities they deliver, but how few. To worry nothing, weigh one issue specifically. You'll stroll alone, no longer due to the fact you're hated, not because you are misunderstood, but because the fearless guy does not need others, and that to the average character is terrifying. They may name you cold, conceited, emotionless. They may say you've got modified, that you've turned out to be remote, uncaring, but what they're truly announcing is this: you stopped relying on us. Now we don't know the way to manage you. Fearlessness comes at a fee, and that is it, isolation. While you no longer seek approval, you stop blending in. When you now not crave protection, you emerge as a danger to people who stay for it. And while you now not fear being by myself, you turn out to be untouchable. Machiavelli knew this fee nicely. He turned into exiled, slandered, and deserted via the very powers he once counseled. However, he didn't wreck. Why? Because solitude to a fearless man is not a punishment. It is a sprucing stone, the vulnerable searching for crowds, the strong construct silence. And the truly powerful, they disappear to construct empires unseen. Apprehend this. Fear binds people collectively. It's why they gossip. It's why they form susceptible alliances. They are united by means of mutual insecurity, every one fearful of being excluded, changed, or forgotten. However, whilst you kill worry, you not want the tribe. You now not want agency to sense sturdy. You no longer worry being left behind because you already selected a path that leaves others at the back of. That is the start of actual dominance. It is now not approximately being loud. It's about being untethered. It's approximately detaching from the mental chains that bind absolutely everyone else. The concern of abandonment, the concern of being misunderstood, the concern of being by myself together with your very own mind. You need to face it now. Complete detachment isn't always cozy. However, comfort is for livestock. Strength calls for side. Ask yourself, why achieve this many strong guys fall? Due to the fact they surround themselves with consolation, with yes-men, with dependents who slowly rot their judgment. Machiavelli warned against this. He stated, a ruler ought to usually keep his circle small, his agree with constrained, and his thoughts his own. The instant you depend on others for electricity, you hand them the knife. The fearless man would not beg for loyalty. He does not beg for organization. He does not chase love, validation, or guide. Instructions admire through silence, through outcomes, through distance. And that distance is what human beings fear most. People will try and guilt you. They may say you are disconnected, that you've misplaced touch, which you're too extreme, top. Let them say it because they don't understand that you're not playing by means of their rules. You are no longer in this international to be liked. You are right here to be remembered. And people who are remembered are not often surrounded with the aid of applause while they rise. You upward push in silence. You triumph over on my own. Assume every ancient titan, Napoleon feared and by myself, Julius Caesar betrayed by means of friends, Machiavelli himself writing on my own in exile, crafting blueprints of electricity at the same time as the world mocked him. That solitude, that exile, its solid readability, ruthlessness, mastery. If you want real energy, you have to pick this route. Now, not once, every day. You may consume alone. You will make decisions that isolate you. You will break alliances when they not serve your purpose. You will walk out of rooms full of cowards. You'll reduce ties without apology. Because fearlessness demands consciousness, and cognizance needs distance. Most effective then will you spot certainly. Best then will you act immediately. Simplest then will you be capable of do what the apprehensive can't. Lead while not having everybody. So while the loneliness comes, whilst the silence received heavy, don't retreat, do not run, return to comfort, welcome it, because that silence is the echo of your evolution. It way worry is gone, and electricity is taking its vicinity. The charge of fearlessness is solitude, however the praise is absolute freedom. You've killed your fear. You've general isolation. You no longer draw back, make an apology, or hesitate. Now you input the final section. You come to be the concern. Due to the fact the instant you feel nothing, you start to sense what others nevertheless experience and use it in opposition to them. This is in which power multiplies. This is in which Machiavelli smiles from the shadows. Apprehend this. Worry is the handiest weapon ever invented. You do not need swords if you have silence. You do not need to assault whilst others paralyze themselves to your presence. Worry does give you the results you want if you discover ways to craft it. Machiavelli failed to simply take a look at fear. He taught leaders a way to engineer it. He knew human beings respond more to ability pain than to real violence. They worry unpredictability. They worry thriller. They worry what they cannot calculate. And that is your function. You are not just a man. You're a mirror in which others see their own weak point. So how do you wield fear like a weapon? The first step, turn out to be unreadable. Predictable guys are manageable. You should grow to be unreadable, silent, calculating, smile much less, communicate much less, display not anything. Let them marvel what you are wondering. Allow them to fill within the blanks with their personal paranoia, and make certain what little you reveal contains weight, controlled, planned weight. The moment people cannot are expecting your next move, they prevent feeling safe around you, and after they experience hazardous, they obey. Step 2, broadcast energy, never emotion. Vulnerable guys express emotion first. Sturdy guys broadcast result. While you input a room, humans need to experience tension, no longer comfort. not due to the fact you are loud, however. Because you deliver yourself like a man who does no longer play games, make your presence a warning, now not through theatrics, however via sheer control. The way you walk, sit, appearance, the entirety should signal, I see the entirety, I leave out nothing, and that I experience nothing. It truly is how tyrants rule without speak me. It's how kings win battles before they begin. Step 3. Use fear to control results. When you apprehend what others worry, use it. The concern of exclusion, the concern of embarrassment, the concern of being replaced, exposed, demoted. Mention matters indirectly. Allow them to sense the warmth without seeing the fireplace. Allow them to fear what may appear if they pass you. Due to the fact in that ambiguity, you gain energy. Human beings don't follow power. They follow what they fear dropping. So do not threaten at once. Imply. Let your silence carry the query. What occurs if I decide you're a hassle? They may solution it for you of their behavior. Step 4. Make an example. Eventually, someone will take a look at you. Someone constantly does. Whilst that second comes, do not warn. Do no longer give an explanation for. Damage publicly. Make it speedy. Make it very last. Make it acknowledged. Let the others watch. Allow them to experience their personal pulse quicken. Let them comprehend he would not bluff. This is how you turn fear from a feeling into a machine. You create a hierarchy. Human beings fall in line, not because you asked. However, because they recognize what happens if they do not. This isn't approximately cruelty. It's approximately control. Machiavelli warned, a prince who isn't feared will subsequently be overthrown. Fear is the defend behind the throne. It's the silence that surrounds the powerful. It's the pressure that continues blades sheathed. So right here's your truth now. You haven't any fear, but they do. And that worry, it is your currency, your weapon, your armor. The actually powerful do not fear pain. They manufacture it for others. They don't balk. They make others draw back first, and that is the final evolution. No longer just to fear not anything, however to become the factor all of them fear. Fear is the foundation of every weak existence, every silent failure, each ignored possibility. It controls guys greater than laws, extra than kings, more than God. However, after you destroy it, you don't simply emerge as more potent. You grow to be unrecognizable. You stop reacting like prey. You stop soliciting for permission. You no longer waste time on approval, protection, or social attractiveness. Alternatively, you move with precision, quiet, calculated, relentless. You do not announce your power. You let the silence round you talk. You cut off hesitation. You prevent negotiating with your moral sense. You prevent explaining yourself to folks that are already under you. You appearance the arena in the eye and say, I don't fear you. I do not want you, and I am no longer waiting. When worry dies, ruthlessness is born. No longer chaos, no longer anger, but calm, surgical electricity. You do not provide mercy while it is undeserved. You cast off threats before they take root. You don't cringe when betrayal moves. You predicted it. You don't fear isolation. You require it. Even as others chase applause, you construct in silence. At the same time as they search for allies, you turn out to be a guide device. You train yourself to behave even as they hesitate. You learn to take a seat alone at the same time as they panic in crowds. You detach from results, from consolation, from the need to be visible. And in that silence, your electricity multiplies. You begin to see how worry governs all people else. The way it makes them predictable, emotional, susceptible, and then comes your very last transformation. You operate their fear in opposition to them. You become unreadable, unpredictable, untouchable. You by no means explain, by no means overplay your hand. You let your stillness end up a query they can't solution. You permit your presence apply pressure without a word. You don't threaten, you mean. You don't fight frequently, but when you do, you finish it quick. You are making examples. You speak with action. You dominate without extent. You become the man they warn others about, the person who would not blink, would not stall, would not crack. People obey no longer because they prefer you, but due to the fact they don't know what happens if they go you. You do not worry effects. You are the consequence. That is what Machiavelli understood, that fear, whilst mastered, becomes the deadliest weapon of all. No longer because you operate it on yourself, but due to the fact you surgically inject it into others. That is the route, and this is your choice. You may live average, led by using emotion, seeking protection, addicted to being favored. Or you could burn all that, kill your worry, and build something terrifying in its area, something powerful, something everlasting. If this message hit you where it topics, if it stirred something ruthless and bloodless inside you, do not scroll away. Subscribe. This is not motivation. This isn't always therapy. That is the cold blueprint for overall control for individuals who refuse to stay as pawns. Welcome to the darker side of strength. Welcome to the silence in the back of true dominance. Welcome to Machiavelli.